Hey guys, Bird Yu-Gi-Oh here, coming at you with another deck profile. Salamangreat, of course. It's not only one of the best decks this format, it's one of the best budget decks this format. It's from a structure deck, so it's going to naturally be, pretty budget. But then it also, one of its best cards, cynet mining, got a reprint. Really, really nice to have now. You can work without it, but it's one of those things that's just really nice to have. But yeah, we're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. If you have any ideas for something for a 1,000 subscriber video or anything like that, just let me know down in the comments, and we'll get right into this deck profile. Starting off with one of my favorite normal summons. There's three main normal summons in this deck. You got Foxy, Lady Debug, and Flame Buffalo. They're all just dependent on situations, which one's best, but Foxy's really nice. You just normal summon it, excavate the top three cards of your deck. You can add one excavated Salamangreat card to your hand, and then you shuffle the rest back into the deck. And then if this card is in the graveyard and a face-up spell and trap is on the field, you can discard a Salamangreat card, special summon him from the grave, and then destroy one face-up spell and trap on the field. So really good if your opponent plays, like field spells or, just stuff like anti-spell fragrance and, stuff like that. That could potentially hurt you. Really good card. And then one that I still play at 3. I've noticed a lot of people bumping it down to 2, but I'm still really fine seeing this. Spinny. I like it at 3. If you control a Salamangreat card, you can discard this card and then target one face-up monster on the field that gains 500 attack. And then while it's in the graveyard, if you control a Salamangreat monster other than Spinny, you can just special summon this card, but you have to banish it when it leaves the field. So it's just a free body on board to link up into like Sunlight Wolf or whatever you need to. And then just one Gazelle, we'd play it at 10 if we could. Really good card, you always want to see it. And it's easier now, obviously, with playing cynet mining to get to this card. But if a Salamangreat monster is sent to your graveyard, usually just by simply link summoning a Balinx, you can special summon this card. And if it's normal or special summon, you can send one Salamangreat from your deck to your graveyard. So you could send a Spinny, you could send a trap, and then add that trap back to your hand later, or set it, depending on what monster effects you use. So he's just perfect for the deck. And then I played 2 Jack Jaguar. He's really nice. He's got some high attack. He'll inflict piercing battle damage if he attacks defense position monster. But if he's in your graveyard and you control a Salamangreat link, you can target one Salamangreat in your graveyard, shuffle that into the deck, and then if you do special summon this card, that'll link monster points too. So it's good at getting, like if you used up a couple of Sunlight Wolves, you can shuffle one back, special summon him, nice to do sometimes. And he's just an easy level 4 to get on the field. One Falco. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Salamangreat spell and trap and set it to your field. So that's like what I said with Gazelle. You can send a trap, and then he's a good way of setting that to your field, that trap that you just sent. So it's really nice. And then when he's in the graveyard, you can target one Salamangreat you control, return it to the hand, and if you do, special summon him. So that could set up some potential, kind of cool plays. And then Foul is the last true Salamangreat we play. If a Salamangreat is normal or special summoned, you could just special summon him from the hand. And then you can send one Salamangreat card from your hand or face up on your field to the graveyard. Then target one set spell and trap your opponent controls, and that set card cannot be activated this turn. So you can lock them out of a potentially, good card. And then one of the best complements to the Salamangreats is going to be Lady Debug. I really like it at 3. If you have other cards you want to play, you can definitely play it at 2. more draw power or whatever you're playing. But simply, if it's normal or special summoned, you can add one level 3 or lower Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. So most of the time it's going to be a Gazelle, just because you really want to see that card in your hand. But basically any Gazelle, Spinny, or Foxy, any of those. And then 2 Flame Buffalo. I used to think it was a must at 3, but especially now with cynet mining now budget and now in most everyone's deck for Salamangreat, I felt 2 was perfect. If it leaves the field, you just discard 1 Cyberse monster and you draw 2 cards. So that's absolutely amazing, especially if you have like a Spinny, you discard the Spinny, you draw 2, and then you can use the Spinny effect. It's a really, really good card. That's it for kind of like your engine cards, your kind of Salamangreat engine cards. And then one of the main reasons Salamangreats are just really good is because obviously they can basically search out their traps, set them and stuff. But then they can also play hand traps like crazy. One of the best ones is going to be Ash Blossom. It's fire, so that that comes up sometimes. 3 Effect Veiler. Again, just a really nice generic hand trap. And then the last one I'm playing is 3 Ghost Ogre. Just 9 hand traps. I think it's perfect for me through testing and all that. I love playing 9 hand traps if you can, and still have your engine be intact. So that's the monsters. And the spells, newest edition, 2 cynet mining. It's again another once per turn. You just send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard and add 1 level 4 or lower Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. So again, that's whatever you need, Foxy, or heck, you could even search out a Lady Debug, normal summon that, but most of the time you're just really wanting to get that Gazelle to hand. That's just the key to having a good board, is getting that Gazelle. 2 I think is perfect. 1 Salamangreat Circle. That's just again another way. The main effect you're going to be using is just adding 1 Salamangreat monster from your deck to your hand. And it's a quick play, so you can set it back, and then if your opponent, on their turn tries to destroy some of your back row, and if this is one of them, you just can chain it and add another Salamangreat card to your hand. Play 1 Sanctuary. It's searchable, so you really don't want to see it ever. That's definitely why you play it at 1, because you'll go into your Baylinks and then add that to hand. And it truly is the key to the deck. If you don't see this or can't get to it, your Baylinks get ashed or something, you're usually not going to have a very good board. So Sanctuary is kind of the key. And then 2 Will. It's just your way of, you can special summon a Salamangreat from your hand or your graveyard. So really good for just getting your plays going. And then 1 Foolish Burial. Send whatever you need there. You could even send, Jack Jaguar to special summon that later. Or Spinny. Send whatever you need to the graveyard. And then 3 Called by the Grave. Like I said, adding that Sanctuary to your hand is super important. And you have a lot of cards that search anyway. Cynet Mining, Circle. You just need a lot of effects that could potentially be hand trapped to go off. So Called by the Grave is a must. And the last one is going to be 1 Monster Reborn. Just an easy summon of whatever you need from your grave. And then the last 4 cards are your traps. I like 2 Roar. Basically negate anything while you control a Salamangreat Link monster. And then 2 Rage as well. You'd prefer to always see 1 of each. But if I would have to choose, most of the time I would pick a Rage. Just so you can get rid of potential monsters on the board or just plays that your opponent's doing. Because you just target 1 Salamangreat Link monster you control, that was link summoned using a monster with its same name, and you destroy cards your opponent controls up to that monster's link rating. So most of the time, if you can end on like a Sunlight Wolf, you'll be destroying 2 cards your opponent controls, which is really nice. It also has another effect. You can just send one Salamangreat monster from your hand or face up on the field to the grave, and then target 1 card on the field and destroy it. So 2 decent effects. But I like them 2 and 2. I think it's perfect. So that is the main deck. We stuck with exactly 40 just for consistency and just being able to draw your engine cards. And then extra deck, have to play 3 Baylinks. Basically, when it's link summoned, it just requires 1 level 4 or lower Cyburst monster. When it's link summoned, you can add 1 Sanctuary from your deck to your hand, and then if a Salamangreat card you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this from your graveyard. So you want at least 1 to 2 of him in the graveyard just for protection. Amazing card. 3 Sunlight Wolf. He's by far the best one in the extra deck just for getting your plays going. He requires just 2 fire effect monsters. And then if a monster is normal or special summon to a zone this card points to, you can add 1 fire monster from your graveyard to your hand. For the rest of the turn, you can't normal or special summon with the monster with that name. And then also, during your main phase, if you control this card that was link summoned using another Sunlight Wolf, you can add 1 Salamangreat spell and trap from your graveyard to your hand. So again, that's another way for like Gazelle to send like a Rage, and then as long as you link summon with another Sunlight Wolf to make him, usually you'll use Sanctuary to do that. You can then add the Rage to your hand that you just sent to the graveyard. So 2 really, really good effects. And then 2 Heat Leo. I just did 2 different artworks on him. He just requires 2+ fire effect monsters, but he's your main way of just disrupting your opponent, or kind of breaking boards. Really good for going second. If it's link summoned, you just target 1 card to your opponent in your opponent's spell and trap zone, shuffle it into the deck, so it gets rid of 1 of their back rows, and then once per turn during a main phase, if this card was link summoned using a Heat Leo, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field and 1 monster in your graveyard, and the attack of the target on the field becomes equal to the target that was in the graveyard. So if you have him and then say like a Baylinks or something, you can target him and a monster in the grave, get his attack up. But otherwise, yeah, he's just going to help you get rid of some back row. And then play 1 Hita. Requires just 2 monsters, including a fire monster. You just target 1 fire monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to a zone this card points to. So usually that's going to be like an Ash Blossom most of the time. And then if this link summon card is destroyed by battle or is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add 1 fire monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. And then we got 1 Nightmare Phoenix for back row, Nightmare Unicorn for just any problem card. Shuffling that into the deck is nice. And then in this version, I'm going with an Update Jammer and Transcode Talker. That's just easy OTKs. It's one of the best ways with this deck to just OTK your opponent with these 2 cards. Really nice. Borreload, sometimes you can make it, and if you can, it's going to usually be a problem for your opponent. And the last card is our rank 4 Abyss Dweller. It's a must in Salamangreats because it's so easy to make, and it's so good against most decks. So yeah, that's definitely a must in this deck. So that is the deck profile, guys. Hope you liked it. It's really nice having cynet mining. So yeah, I still have 5 more decks coming up for my budget deck profiles. I did a top 10 about a week ago. So I'm doing all 10 of those deck profiles. So we're halfway done. I got 5 more. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that, and we'll catch you on the next one.